Hello everyone, Argsy here. Welcome back to North Frisian in our multiplayer series with the Farm Sim guy. Now, he is still away, enjoying some time relaxing, so he asked us if we'd pop down here and have a look at his farm. Just double check that his pigs are all good. You can see down the bottom there, 100% health. They are 57,000 litres of food. Started producing some slurry as well, so basically everything's a-okay. Just don't tell him if there's only 179 when he gets back, because there's one in there that looks like it'll make a good slab of bacon. So we'll take it as payment for being down here and doing some checking for him and just taking care of his farm. But that's all for what we need to do down here. Today we are going to be heading back down to our farm. We've got a few things to do, mainly some grass to bale, some silage to make, and some hay to make as well. I have skipped forward from last month. We were in October. This week we're in November. A little bit of a mistake because I thought we had 2-day seasons or 2-day months on. We only have 1-day months. So we've managed to move forward a month rather than just forward a day in the same month. So it is what it is. We will make do with the situation we're in. So no point really standing around here talking. We'll get this door closed. Does close. There we go. Leave that there closed, and we'll head on back down to our place. Go make a start on some work. So first things first, I just thought I'd come in and check on the cows, and we've had some big changes going on here. Not so much with our animal numbers, they stay where they are, but it's to do with their health and their productivity. I think last month we had maybe 18,000 litres of milk, not too much at all, but of course we hadn't given them any TMR. Well, you can see now their health has bounced right up to 100%, and we've suddenly got 50,000 litres of milk, so their productivity and the amount of milk they have produced has increased exponentially, which is positive for us. Does leave us with a slight little dilemma, and we need to figure out some way to get that milk sold. So we're going to have to go and look at getting a milk trailer or some sort of trailer that we can take it down to a sell point and get rid of the milk. Problem is we've only got $25,000, so we might have to lease it in the short term. Probably be something we might need to buy in the long term as well. So that's that's a good problem to have, right? Making money by making milk. So that was the plan with this farm all along. But yeah, everything in here looks pretty good. They're all happy. Their food's getting down, so we are going to have to make a mix of food too. Only got 2,500 litres left, and as you can see, there's no feed plane or anything down here next to the wall. So we'll go and get that sorted out first. Then we'll go and figure out a tanker or something, see if we can get some milk sold, and then once we've done all of that, then we'll be able to go make a start on getting some grass baled up. So first things first with the feed mix, we've got to remember we can only put 7,000 litres maximum of hay into the baler. That's what we figured out last time. And what are these? 7,250 litre bales or something along those lines. So we've got 500 here, which means we can only really afford to put about 6,000 of another bale in. So we'll just get that one put in there. There we go. We'll pick up the other one, and we're going to have to delicately dangle that in there until it starts getting chewed up and eaten by the feed mixer. Once it does that, then we'll be able to pull it back out, hopefully end up with some appropriate mixed or appropriate amount of hay in the straw bale, and then we'll go over and grab the silage. Our silage bales are still fermenting. It is quite incredible actually how long it's taken for them to ferment. I didn't think it would take anywhere near as long as it has, but here we are, and that's how long it's taken. Let's just get that one put up in there, hopefully close enough to drop it in over the edge, just gently. I'm gonna watch the there we go. Oh, it started getting taken a little bit there. Might have it a bit high on the forks. We can go in a little bit further. Let's get that extended out. There we go. No, maybe in first person view might not be the best option. We'd actually gone too far across, which is a bit surprising. I thought we might have been not far enough, but there we go. Let's just keep an eye on this. I'm going to leave about 1,000 litres on the bale. There we go. That's probably about right. Don't want to overdo it. Overdoing it would be the worst thing we could possibly do. Right, let's just put this down in here. We'll need it next time. We'll get to the point where we end up with a bale with 6,000 litres in it, and it'll be just perfect. 7,000 litres and it'll be just perfect. Right, straw, and then over for the silage. Then we'll get the cattle fed, and then we'll go find ourselves a trailer for the milk. This should be our last partial bucket of silage. We won't need all of it to fill it up, I don't think. But as you can see there, we've already got the TMR mixture created. It's changed to that TMR colour. Just put that in there. There we go. 1,000 litres won't quite fit in, but that's good. At least I managed to get that fixed and sorted out. Now I know I made the comment last time about flour being a bit of a weird ingredient to have in there, but as someone pointed out in the comments in the last video, Flour, if you were looking at it as a representation of a crushed grain, is actually quite a common ingredient used in feed mixes. So from that point of view, it's actually, I guess, entirely and wholly appropriate to be having something like that in your feed mix. So I guess that's kind of a clever little way that the map creator introduced crushed grain as a possible ingredient here in your TMR. I guess it means you would need to buy a grain mill or something like that to be able to crush it and actually make it into flour. So look past the fact that it's called flour, treat it as crushed grain, and it makes a whole lot more sense. Right, we'll get ourselves backed in here once more, get this feed mix all done, and then we'll be off down to the shop and go and see what we can find to get some milk taken to wherever we need to take it. I need to research that too, and go and get some milk sold, make a little bit of money. So that should keep the cows happy for a wee bit longer. Of course, it's going to be something we're going to have to just continually do. So some nights, some episodes, we may make up 2 or 3 mixes, and just to make sure that they're well topped up and see if that'll get us through a little bit more than a month. Of course, we've got much more capacity to add in quite a few more cows into the barn as well. So it could become very much a full-time job, keeping them happy and fed. Right, I'll back this here in front of the forage harvester, unhook the feed mixer, and we're going to head down to the shop. Down here under animals, we'll go into barrels. And of course, the 2 ABI ones you can't actually use for milk. They're just purely water, which is a little bit frustrating, which leaves you with these 2 by default. The MK's 8, which I really don't like because it's got the turntable front axle there, which is frustrating to back. Only 8,000 litre capacity and $25,000. Otherwise, you're looking at 90 grand and 32,000 litres here. But of course, you need a truck to haul that one as well. So we've actually added in one of my favourite tanker mods that there has ever been in Farm Sim, the Baling Bowser. This is by Rossend Mods. Now this has 18,000. We'll ignore the unrealistic capacity. It's not something I'd ever use. But 18,000 litres for $29,000, a pretty affordable way to do it. Of course, we can't actually afford that at the moment, so we are going to have to lease it. And with 50,000 litres of milk, we're looking at, what's that, 3 trips probably to get it all sold. So whether we do it all in one go or not, or save some for next time, probably, again, something we might have to keep on doing. I might even have a chat to FSG. Possibly we'll add in the automatic milk sale option as well. Who knows? But anyhow, let's have a look here. We're not going to go through and change any of that because we are just leasing it. So we'll keep it as low cost and affordable as possible. $1,500. Right, that sounds pretty decent to me. Turn all that off. Let's go and have a look outside. I brought it around and it should be parked here for us to pick up. Here we go. Perfect. Perfect for what we want to do. So, get it hooked up and we are going to run back to the farm, find out where our milk trigger is, and go and get some milk sold. Now, if this was your farm, where would you expect the milk trigger to be? I don't know if it's going to be around that end. Could be, but we'll go and have a look around this end. There is a tank kind of over in the back corner. I may have to turn the triggers on and figure this out, but let's just go and have a look. I wonder if that big white tank in the back corner there is kind of symbolising or signifying the location of the trigger for the milk. It's looking a little bit like a vat, doesn't it? Some pretty tight yards here that we have to manoeuvre around. Can be a little bit tricky. Get backed in there, and we'll just hit R and see if we get a trigger. Get some milk to fill up. Here we go. Nailed it. First time. So while that's filling up, let's take a look where we're going to be heading to get this sold. This time-saving stock checks telling me that Huffin Market is currently the best price, and actually we're at max price for milk, so we couldn't have picked a better time to be selling some. If we go to the value at all stations, the dairy, there's actually about a $30 difference there between the two, and we'll have a look on the map and figure out where they both are. So here's our farm down here. This is the dairy up here on the top left corner, and the Huffin Market is over at the marina, at the wharf, at the jetty, whatever you want to call that. So from where we are, we're basically going to have to run back up past FSG's farm, around the corner, take this little dog leg which goes across the train tracks, up to that main road, then we're going to turn right, then left, and over the stop bank, the whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure what the terminology would be for this region. And then we're going to have a right and head back down that way. So I think that's going to be the quickest way, isn't it? Our alternative is to run all the way down the bottom of the map, past the shop, and weave our way back through here. But no, that's definitely going to take longer. So after we've been at the train tracks, take a right, left. All right, I'm pretty sure we can figure this one out. Let's see if I can get there without having to check the map. We're going to time lapse this run down to the first sell point for the milk, for our first trip to go and sell some milk. I'm quietly chuffed that we've managed to make it all the way down here, and I'm quite pleased and excited to actually have checked out some other parts of the map. I haven't really explored it a huge amount. To be able to get down here, see some of these areas, which is kind of cool. There's a couple of other things I noticed on the way too, which we'll have a look at on the way back, but I think there might be some seasonal places, seasonal events, seasonal decoration around. Now the one thing I have noticed is the turning circle on this is quite abysmal, and when we came across some of those tight areas, it didn't work too well. So I'm just trying to figure out, is the trigger sell point that there in front of us, or one of those markets over there? We'll have to figure that out. That's the only thing I'm just not quite sure, without having our triggers turned on, exactly where our sell point is. Hoping that's going to be the market there. So I'm going to try and back in front of, and we'll find out. Are we going to get ourselves a trigger? Are we going to get ourselves a trigger? No, we're not. Is there anything I need to open on this trailer? Not sure. Just a few buttons and see what happens. Can't see anything. I might have to bring up the triggers and just figure out exactly where we're meant to be. Well, as you can see, we're in the right place. Now, I do have the ability here to open these doors on the back. I'm not sure whether they have to be open to sell, but kind of just maneuvering our way around the sell trigger. I haven't been able to find a point where we can unload here. I'm not sure whether it's just a very titchy little trigger, whether we're not quite in the right spot, whether we need to be at a slightly different angle. Maybe try and back the whole Bowser over it. Not sure. Not ideal for bringing something into. Could you imagine having one of those big truck trailers to come do this? Well, if we have to go down the road to the dairy, at least it's not too far. Back door open again. No, still no change. Trigger popping up or anything. Oh, there it is. We found it. Where is it? World's smallest trigger. I did see something pop up as we drove forward. Actually, I'm not going to be able to recreate it now. Oh, yeah. Don't move. We found it. That is a rather small little trigger if you're trying to sell anything up here. But let's see. Get some money moving in. Oh, I forgot about the environmental reward. So what did that give us? 13.5 grand, and we've got enough for 2 more loads. So it's going to give us what, 27, 30, $50,000 from 3 loads. That's impressive. I'll definitely take that. Give us enough money to actually be able to buy this Bowser outright. Take it back and return it, and then be able to pick it up. Very nice. All right, I'm happy with that. Let's head on back down to the farm. We're going to make a couple more round trips, get this sold. But like I said, there was a couple of things I just wanted to look at on the way back, because I couldn't remember last time we had been in some of those areas, having seen those. So we'll go and have a look, see if it's something that's been added through a seasonal change. We're just rolling into, well, effectively where FSG's farm is. This is the field on the right that he had beets in. He's got his cover crop in there. Can't remember if that was a cover crop or whether he planted an actual crop in there. You can definitely see his cover crop has come up and looking nice and green in here on the left hand side. Still see his tractor parked out there. What I was thinking about, and what I can't recall now, let's get a little bit further up here. There's some sort of roadworks being done just up here. And I can't for the life of me recall having seen that here previously. Now I know I've been down the road a couple of times, but I might have to go back and have a look at some other videos and see if that roadworks were there or not. But hard to tell, really cannot remember. Might have just been completely oblivious to it. Anyhow, that was just something I was wondering if it was a seasonal decoration that appears and disappears. I know it's been used before by other modders, so it could well be something like that. Anyhow, let's just carry on. I'm going to go and get these couple of loads of milk sold, see how much money we end up with. We'll see when you're back and into some fields to get some grass baled up, windrowed, tedded, whatever it is we do for the next wee while. Back with our third and final load. Now I found the trigger a whole lot easier the second time. Let's see if we can do it again this time. No. Bizarre, I actually backed in. Oh, there it was. I backed into it really quickly. It's such an awkward trigger to find. Another go, it sort of pops up and then disappears. We can get that again going forward. No. There it is. Right. Let's get this last... Oh, no, we must have rolled out of it. No, we're selling now. Right, last 14,000 litres to sell. We had about 27 grand off the first two loads combined. So we'll just wait and see where this all leaves us. Another $10,000. So about $35,000 would be about right. We were on 24, so 24 and 36, 60, 36, maybe 38,000. Maybe a little bit more than I thought. Regardless of what it was, that is a pretty bumper payday. Very, very pleased with that. Sets us up well and gives us a little bit more flexibility to think about what equipment we might need to buy or invest in some more cows or some of those things that we need to start thinking about. So yeah, pretty excited, pretty pleased to have started making some decent money. Going to be a bit more cautious approaching the train tracks this time. We had a very near miss on the way down with the load. The barriers started coming down while we were in the middle of the crossing. We just managed to squeeze out, but there we go, can't see the train coming. Very awkward intersection, sort of to turn, to look for trains, do all of that at the same time. But we're through, we're safe, which is good. So we're heading back down to the farm, obviously, and we're going to go and grab the baler first up. What I'm going to do is we're going to bale the first field with the silage, grass baled up off that one. Then we might go through and ted the other two fields. Get the bales collected up, all the silage, get those wrapped and get them starting to ferment. Because as we've learned, grass silage seems to take a very long time to ferment when compared to the bunkers. I just got notification actually as we were driving down that the second bunker has finished fermenting. So we've, got a couple of million litres of corn chaff fermented, and we can't even get a few thousand or a few 100,000 litres of grass individually wrapped to ferment as quick as that. So yeah, we'll figure that one out. Anyhow, that's the plan. We will carry on down this way, get rid of this trailer because we're not going to need that anymore, or at least we're now in a position we can buy our own. So we'll get rid of this and we'll go and make a start on that grass. So changing our focus now, we are going to grab the vent Varia 728 to get hooked up here to the class quadrant. Not sure how much bale twine, there's only 18 litres in there. May even have to go and get some more of that. Not sure if we did get some last time, we may have. Might be some floating around somewhere. Anyhow, let's first things first, we'll get this hooked up and we'll actually see how much there is in there. Then we'll go and start getting some bales made. Might have said 18 litres, but it's pretty much full, so we definitely do not have to worry about that. Now I'm not going to bother changing the bale size for the silage. I'm not too worried about the bale size for that. That's not as critical as it will be when we get to the hay. So we do need to make sure when we do start baling the hay, just get those beacons on as we go along this short bit of road. As we do start baling the hay, make sure that we're mindful of the fact we don't want to make big bales. We want to make probably as small ones as we can with this baler. Might not be that small. Anyhow, downside to having skip forward a month is we now have slightly longer grass in our fields. Fortunately here where it's windroad, and the fact we're into winter, it's actually not too hard to see exactly where things are. First things first, get that unfolded. Is that done? Alright, turn things on. Fire that pickup down. Can I adjust the height on this drawbar at all? This looks a bit high at the front, doesn't it? Maybe it's just the angle I was looking at. No, nothing there. Okay, might have just been the angle. Lights can go off, we don't need those flashing. There we go. And we'll start getting some grass picked up. Just double check what size this first bale that comes out is. Only going to be about 6,500 litres. Which might be about right. That's probably about what size the other ones are. I do need to actually double check that we can wrap these. So we'll just make that double check just now. Well, good thing I checked, because the wrapper will only wrap a 180 bale, and this first one that we made was a 220. bump the size down now to 180s and we should be good to go. That grass bale will probably be able to throw into the calf pen. They'll eat that, so that's not all wasted. First part of it was actually hay anyhow, so there we go. That's us up and going here, getting some silage made. So we'll get these bales all pressed up, get this all off the ground. Then we'll need to go through and get the next few fields, the hay fields, tedded, ready to probably bale in the next episode, when we might be able to get FSG to give us a hand with some windrow. Last row of the grass and we'll be all done. I don't actually know how many bales we've ended up with because I forgot to reset the bale counter, which is a little bit unfortunate, and I don't really feel that excited about going around and counting them all, but my guess, just having a look around the field, is probably 44, 45, somewhere between 40 and 50 at least, so we'll be able to double check that when we get the chance with the loading wagon, get in here, get them all picked up. So that's that done though. We get that turned off. Get on back over to the field entrance. We can eject this last bale out, probably two bales actually. Got what, almost 2/3 of a bale. That'll turn to hay when we get back into the hayfield, which is fine. I could go pick up some grass now and just finish it off, but there's really no point to doing that. Let's just see, can we get these bales to hop out of the baler? There we go. That one's going to get stuck now, isn't it? See what happens if we fold it. Get rid of it that way. Perfect. Oh, we probably actually can leave that folded up because we're not going to need it for a little bit. We're going to need to get this other field tedded and windrowed. So we're going to go and park things up. Go and find the tedder. I'm going to come in and do these two fields very quickly before we get to some loading and getting into the wrapping side of things, which will be the last thing we get done today. Voucher in the field, get the tedder unfolded, get everything engaged, and we will just get moving. Here we go. Lower that down. Should be all set up here for our steering assist. Should we go in some nice straight rows? Always nice to have that. And there we go. Grass is getting tedded out and given the chance to dry out. Obviously needs every chance it gets considering we are now technically into November. So let's carry on. Not much else to say about it. We're just going to race through these two fields, get this grass all dried out and get it to the point where we'll soon be able to windrow and bale it. Take a guess, how many do you reckon? I reckon my guess of 40 to 50 might be a little bit light now. Anyhow, let's carry on, get this field done. So that's both the fields and... Start that again. So that's both the fields now tedded and the grass is technically turned into hay. Our next job will be to get it all windrowed up, and then we can come through and bale it, hopefully in the smallest bale size possible, which will give us better sizes to use with our TMR mix. But there we go. Lift that up there, we can get that turned off and get it folded up now. And there's a decent amount of hay in these two fields. Definitely going to add up once we get them both done. But as the days got on, it's gotten away from me. It's taken me a bit longer to get both these tasks done. So I don't think we're actually going to have any time for the end of this episode to get in there and pick up any of those bales. So I'm going to pose you a question. Drop me a guess in the comments of exactly how many bales there are out there. If you're eagle-eyed, you would have been able to maybe get a count when we've been tedding in here. Maybe you can go back and see if you can count in some of the views we had in the montage when we were doing the baling, and see if you can figure out exactly how many bales there were. I'd be intrigued to see if anyone can get close with a guess. But I think that's going to have to do it for me for this episode. We'll be back next week with FSG here to hopefully lend us a hand. I'm not sure what he's got going on in his farm. I'm pretty sure he's got all his crops sorted out now and fields are all kind of just ticking over, so he's kind of ahead on that part of things. This is just our sort of last little hurrah that we need to get done before winter, really. So yeah, if you're free, it'd be great to see you there, and we'll catch you again next time. As always, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you in the next one.